Before I jump into the presentation and all that, let's see. Ashwin, could you do we have a chat function open somewhere? Yeah.
Yeah, I have the chat open.
Okay, very good. So if anybody has a really a main question that you want me to address, just type it into the chat so that it's there, so we can all see it, and then I can address it at the right time during the presentation. So use the chat function for big burning questions, and so that we have them there. I have a PowerPoint presentation. I won't read every word there, don't worry about it. I actually want to talk a lot more about the PA that's standing behind me here. I'll bring that forward later on. And before we kick off in earnest, that's our first ever logo, version 1. We're a couple of logos further in, and also today, exactly 19 years ago, is when we won our first ever award. Best Demonstration in Show Award. It was exactly 19 years ago today. You can see it there, 24th of September. See that? So that was how long we've been doing this. And I was actually just going through a few things to show and tell. I thought, oh, look at that, exactly 19 years. And I've brought the P8 with me because I do want to talk a bit more about some technical details that you really don't get to see or read anywhere else. So let's go through the presentation double quick and see how much time we can spend on that. That's our new logo. Fantastic. And our ambition is really to be the reference loudspeaker provider in the world. And we're really now making some very strong progress for that. Am I sharing my screen already? I forgot to share. How about that? Screen. So yeah, our ambition really is to be the preferred loudspeaker provider for very high quality loudspeakers in the world. For home cinema, for commercial cinema, for studios, recording studios, and media rooms. So this is where it all started, the DTS theater in London. Back in 2002, I joined DTS, and Anders Ugelberg was already working for DTS at that time. And we were commissioned to bring the new DTS technology to the market. I need to do that. And this theater had to work both for cinema equipment and for home cinema. So we needed a loudspeaker that would work for both environments, for what you would call a residential surround system, but also for commercial cinema, because in this room at the back here is a 16mm projector. So we were actually playing real cinema in there, as from reels. And this was just a year before the introduction of digital cinema. So DTS HD was created together with DCI. DTS part of DCI. And little known fact is that DTS master audio is exactly the same. So what you get on DVD is exactly the same audio standard as what is in DCI digital cinema. And we needed a loudspeaker that would work for both, and we couldn't find anything that was hi-fi enough, yet was had enough dynamic range. So we decided to develop our own, and that is these loudspeakers that you see here at the top, which was the precursor for the P8. Today we are all over the world. This is my office here in Sydney. Here's India. We have our office in Shanghai, in the Netherlands, Belgium, the UK, Sweden, and Los Angeles. And we recently moved to a much larger facility just outside of Ghent, also near Antwerp, in Belgium. Really nice place. And this is some of our partners, our commercial partners around the world, some of which you will know, such as CDA. And for those of you who came to the dealer visit to Finland and Sweden, you've been to the Finkino in Helsinki. So why Procella? We build loudspeakers that are tailored for every size room, for every space. And within that space, we put the highest quality audio, cinematic audio, into your home. And very important is that we have very universal audio, very even audio throughout the entire room. So our dispersion is very even from left to right all the way throughout the room. This is that big room that you will have visited if you came with us on the first ever Indian dealer visit. This is Tennis Palazzi in Helsinki. Beautiful room, very, very large, 30 meters front to back. And this uses our above screen loudspeakers, the largest model that we have, the C12-4. And we had the pleasure of watching a movie there at the time. Since then, many beautiful rooms have been built. Right bottom is actually Peter Jackson's room, Lord of the Rings director. And how to select loudspeakers. A lot of you will already know this. It all comes down to THX reference level. So based on achieving 85 decibels continuous with 105 dB peak, and even louder peak for the LFE, we just match that to the room. So we can start in rooms as small as 4 meters, all the way to rooms up to 24 meters. And it's all based on reference level. Surrounds, I'm not going into too much there. And we actually have a table for subwoofers. A lot of people ask us, how do we select subwoofers? Well, this is how you can select subwoofers based on the room volume, based on cubic meters. So, in order to really do Procella audio loudspeakers justice, there's a few things that we really like in a project, which is first of all an acoustic transparent screen if you're using a projection screen, or above screen. Yeah, and this is, you see us referring to our above screen loudspeakers as AS2, and people think it stands for above screen 2. It's actually the two engineers at Finkino, Ari Saarinen and Ari Salenius, who developed this together with Anders Ugelberg. So we refer to above screen as AS2 for that reason. And then very important is that we always encourage people to use a baffle wall, a proper baffle wall. And surprisingly, we see a lot of projects not doing that properly yet. Okay, number of surrounds and Atmos speakers, subwoofers. We now use either waveforming or Dirac bass control, and either or works very well. The THX baffle wall, extremely important. Probably one of the cheapest installations in the room, because it's just made with some timber and some plasterboard or gypsum board, as Europeans call it, in MDF. And you make it 3 layers thick, so you get to approximately 40 millimeters, and it really helps with the projection of the audio forward. If you use our P610 like you see here, right bottom, you would make the cutout for the loudspeaker as small as possible, so it just fits, and that will do the job. Here you see a baffle wall being built. So first of all, it's being framed out with the cutouts for LCR in the correct locations. And here it's framed in, and the front baffle is placed. And once the speakers are in place, also the acoustic absorber material is on the front of the baffle wall. Above screen is going to be very important for into the future because of LED screens. We see that happening slowly now. And here in this photo, you can just see our above screen loudspeakers there above the screen. So left, center, right on one line. And the reason for that is that the brain can marry the audio image and the visual image together, but it can only do it in one direction. So you can't do it left and then up for center and down for right, or the center below, because there's too much jumping up and down happening. It's one line, and the brain can then marry that together. That works very well. I'm going to jump through this just a little bit. This is the new experience center that we have in the Netherlands, in Harderwijk. This is that new room, and this was built in 2020, finished in 2021, 2022. And the reason we built it in 2020 was that COVID happened. And of course, IAC was canceled. And we had all our demo equipment sitting in the Netherlands. So we decided to build a new demo facility. And it's turned out really, really well. And if you come with Ashwin on the next dealer incentive trip, which will take place in November, you will visit this room amongst other locations. This is what we have there. Our own amplifiers, Trinov, Kaleidoscape, MadVR, and DCI projector from Barco. And we always take room acoustics very serious, so we actually had our friends at Audio Data Lab do the acoustic design for the room. And what they do is they take the model of the room and they then plot all the correct acoustic treatments into the seating platform, into the corners of the room that you see here again, and also taking the projection booth into consideration. So the projection booth actually becomes part of the bass trapping. If you want this done for your rooms, we'll be happy to put you in contact with Audio Data Lab, and you will basically get a 20-page document that tells you how to build the room with professional grade acoustic treatments. So this is what a demo room can look like, and you can build your own demo room as well. We encourage dealers to build demo rooms. This room that you see here on the right is in fact in Ankara in Turkey. Our dealer Selçuk there, Phantom AVS is his company name. He built a beautiful room, P815s, and he put Trinov waveforming in, also with overheads on the LCRs. Very, very nice room. Properly built baffle wall, and it was finished just a month or two ago. So loudspeaker models, I'm going to go through that fairly quickly. We have the full range, which we encourage people to start using more and more. As you develop yourself using Procella audio, the benefits of full range are not to be dismissed. You just get a better presentation from the LCR, but also the additional bass. No need for bass management, very important. Smaller rooms, the P610, medium large, the P815, and large rooms, the P880. A lot of you will be using LCRs using the P28s or the P8s or the P6. Yes, very good, but start upgrading to using the P610, the P815, and the P880 as well, to give each of the LCRs their own bass unit. It's a massive audio quality improvement. Surrounds, all our models can be used as surrounds and hides. That's pretty obvious, not going into too much detail. There they are. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the P8 in a second. And the in-walls. In-walls are becoming more and more important all over the world. So we have 3 in-walls now. The P5 ICW in-ceiling in-wall, the P6 IW in-wall, and the P8 ICW in-ceiling in-wall. These two, the P8 and the P5, can be used in ceiling in wall, and they can be turned. They're square, so you can point them in any direction, and it's all about the high frequencies. The mid-range doesn't matter which way it's pointing. It also is slanted just to make space for the high frequency driver. And this is an excellent loudspeaker for larger rooms, for Atmos and for surrounds. And we now have a full range of single subs. P10, P12 is coming. P15 SI you already know. P18 SI been very successful, and new now is the P21 and the P24. There they are, and this P10 and 12 are coming. Then we have our dual subwoofers, the P15, P18 and the V18 and the V21. Still very valid, very good for your Dirac style bass management, and more cost effective. It's just more cost effective to buy dual subs than it is to buy single subs. Okay, and I just want to highlight our amplifiers. We have developed our own amplifiers. It's now 3 years ago, the DA03 and the DA08. And this was done by our own engineers together with Dan Buffholm, who is an engineer from Sweden. Dan Buffholm is the former founder and CEO of Labgruppen. And we hired him to develop these loudspeakers for us. They're made in China, but a lot of things are made in China nowadays. But basically, we've stepped up to the same level as Labgruppen or PowerSoft, because they do exactly the same thing. They have their own engineers developing an amplifier and then get them made in China, Thailand, Taiwan, wherever. Very, very good amplifiers. That's it for my presentation. I'll say stop sharing. Sorry about that, PowerPoint, horrible. So that was very shortly the overview. Any questions at this point about the presentation? Ria, go ahead. Let's unmute you. Why can't I unmute Ria?
Mute myself.
There you go.
Can you
well
hear
done.
me? Hi.
Hi.
Gerben, just one quick question. The amplifier DA03 said 4 into 180 watts in your presentation.
Yeah.
Versus if I go to the data sheets on the website, it says 4 into 280 watts at 8 ohms. Which one should be considered? If you can
Sorry,
understand why I'm asking.
Oh, sorry, what did I say in my presentation? Say that again.
4 into 180.
Oh, typo. 280.
280, right?
Yeah,
Great.
typo.
Thanks.
Sorry about that.
Thanks.
Well spotted. I'll fix that. And on top of that, it's 280 plus. What's very important about our amplifiers is that they are what we call high current amplifiers. So they can produce high peaks of output very quickly, one after the other, millisecond after millisecond after millisecond. In order to do that, you need an amplifier that can just produce a lot of juice, a lot of current. So these are high current amplifiers, and they perform a lot better than amplifiers that, for instance, use RMS, which is a different way of measuring amplifier output power. So yeah, very different there.
Sorry to interrupt. Do we see a Dante-based amplifier coming out in the future, or can this be clubbed with AES67? Because Trino has come out with a new line.
Yeah, this generation is AES3, not AES67.
Right.
In the future, it will become AES67 and or Dante. At the same time, probably. If you want to use Dante now, there is actually a little adapter that you can put with each amplifier, and they cost $100, and you can then use Dante with each amplifier. But if AES3 suffices, which it probably will, then you can just use AES3.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so I want to bring this P8 forward. I'm just going to not drop this one, put that over there. and bring that forward. Let's see, can you see that? Bring it in.
Gopan,
So-
can you, sorry to disturb, can you go to full screen so, you know, if
How
you
do I
can
do
make-
that?
Yeah.
We should be able to do it at our end.
Yeah, probably you can do it your end. Yeah, you can full screen myself.
Yeah,
Can I
yeah,
do
can
this for
you
everybody?
speaker? Yeah, I did that. Okay, you can go, guys. If you want to see full screen, you can just go to view and change your view and put speaker. So then you can
Yeah.
get the whole thing. Yeah.
And mute yourself if you're not talking. Okay, so one of the important things about our loudspeakers is they're black and they're difficult to see. They are all closed box, not bass reflex, and they are all with compression drivers, and they all use waveguides instead of horns. Now, why is that important? I'm not going to mention actual brands of competitors, but you will have seen several competitor brands coming up in the last few years being very popular. And people ask me what makes a Procella better than these other brands. What makes a Procella loudspeaker better is a number of things, and it's all in the engineering. It's engineering to achieve audio quality. And it's something that we call the domain. So in audio engineering, you have time domain, which means do all the frequencies reach your ear at the same time. There is dispersion domain, which means are the frequencies dispersed into the room all together at the same way. And then there is the frequency domain, which is from the lowest frequencies to the highest frequencies, is it all nice and even. So those are the three most common domains. Because we design our speakers the way they are, we achieve a perfect combination of performance in all of those domains. And one thing that experienced Procella audio installers will always comment is how well these loudspeakers calibrate. They can achieve perfect calibration in the room because the loudspeakers allow them to do that. Yes, they sound really good out of the box, but then you do your calibration and all of a sudden it becomes perfect. And the reason for that is that we do not have any ingredients that prevent calibration from achieving a really good result. The most important one is bass reflex. So if you look at any one of our competitors who use bass reflex is a real problem. It can be done well, but with closed box, you just don't have the problem of that secondary bass energy coming from the port. And closed box therefore allows you to calibrate that loudspeaker really, really well. I've seen graphs from installers who did rooms with P28 and it was absolutely beautiful. It was gorgeous how beautiful those curves came out to be. So closed box. And that's true for all our loudspeakers, be they LCRs or subwoofers. Then waveguides. What you see here is that the waveguide is the same width as the 8-inch driver. Can you see that in the dark? 8-inch driver is here, waveguide is there. Now, why is that important? It has to do with the dispersion domain. So we aim to send all the frequencies from the lowest frequencies to the highest frequencies into the room at the same angle, at the same dispersion. Now we all know that a bass driver is omnidirectional. So at the lowest frequencies, no problem, the bass goes everywhere, yeah? And as the frequency goes up, for this mid-range driver here, as the frequency goes up, it becomes more and more directional. Now at some frequency, we can measure that this driver, in fact, has gone from omnidirectional to 90 degrees or 80 degrees. And we can measure that frequency. Guess what the angle of the waveguide is? It is also 80 degrees. Guess where the crossover point is between the mid-bass and the high frequency driver? It's exactly at that frequency where the mid bass becomes 90 degrees. That's where we do our crossover, and then we hand over to the waveguide. By doing that, all frequencies from this loudspeaker are guaranteed to be at that angle of 90 degrees minimum. The lower frequencies will be wider, but the higher frequencies all will be at 90 degrees. This is what we call controlled dispersion. This waveguide is a waveguide because it's relatively short. It is elliptical because that gives you the least amount of distortion. If you remember other horns that you know, there will be those really elongated letterbox style rectangular horns. They look like that. Or square, just pure square. The problem with that is that you then have a diagonal in that horn mouth. So you have a diagonal either in the square, or you have one that's really flat like this. And what you then get is lobe distortion, L-O-B-E, lobe distortion, which means more of the energy goes that way, and less of the energy goes this way and that way. Now, guess what? As an audience, we sit here. We sit in the horizontal. That's where all our heads are. We want to have the best possible dispersion in this field right here, not in that field or that field. And that's why we use elliptical waveguides instead of rectangular horns. On top of that, all our drivers are professional grade, made in Italy, studio quality drivers. These things are still made in factories in Italy. They also have a factory in Poland now, and literally made by hand. These are extremely high quality drivers. None of our electronics are made in China. And finally, crossover design. I don't have a crossover here. I was looking for one. Crossover design is an art, and Anders Ugelberg is one of the best engineers in the world to do that. And he designs really, really good crossovers, which is fantastic. Oh, Raja. Sorry, Raja, you were waiting for a while, maybe.
Durban, can I interrupt?
Yeah, Fadil, go ahead.
I had a question. Do you divulge this spinorama information, the data, the test report of spinorama?
Funny you should ask. We're just about to finish our spinoramas. Takes a little while to get them done. And there's a few companies in Europe that can do it, and we've been working on that. So I actually expect that we'll have those available soon.
Wonderful. And since we were talking about the shape of the waveguide, I understand the reason for an elliptical waveguide, but why not a circular waveguide?
We also use circular waveguides in our P8 in-wall and our P5 in-wall. Those work really well. Obviously, an ellipse is a variation of a circle. It's just that simple. Yes, we do use circular waveguides in some of our loudspeakers, especially the ones that have where we expect them to be used in multiple locations. So the P8, the way it sits here, it's always used as an LCR or a surround, and it always has its dispersion like this. The P8 in-wall could be pointing in any direction, so then we use circular.
And I was discussing with Ashwin the other day about the need for having a wider range and to add some more models in terms of in-walls and in-ceilings. So I think you should probably look at that as well in the future.
He told me about that. So what are you thinking about? Because we have the P5, P6 and the P8. What else are you thinking of?
Something which is a concentric kind of a in-ceiling, a round speaker for the ceiling, a coaxial or a concentric driver.
Yeah, we have tried coaxial drivers several years ago, and in fact the P1 I believe is a coaxial driver at the moment, and for the larger models the audio quality just isn't good enough for us, where we really expect the best of our loudspeakers. And for the smaller units it's possible, but for the larger units, like if you go to P8 level or P28 level, they become a bit rough around the edges, which is just not what we're after. So yes, we are looking at doing more in-wall, in-ceiling, And when we have good opportunity for that, we definitely will. Funnily enough, we just announced a new loudspeaker model called the P5 OCW, which is square, similar to the P5 ICW. The OCW is on wall. It's actually a flat box that's designed just to go onto the ceiling when people want to use a ceiling loudspeaker that can be turned for the different overhead positions, but they can't make a hole into the concrete, or for instance. So we actually just made an on-wall version of our in-wall loudspeakers, which is the P5 OCW.
Or we could even have just a round magnetic grill. The speaker could be square, but the grill could be round, just for the design sake.
Yeah, not a bad idea. I'll keep note of that.
Govan, Premal has posted a question regarding using the speakers, the center speaker to be used horizontally or normally vertically. I think we use it vertically. In the chat, he just posted a question.
Yeah. So center speakers are always an issue when you use a big TV, for instance. So our loudspeakers are designed to be used in their proper orientation. You can't take a P8 and turn it sideways, or a P28 and turn it sideways, for instance. The solution there would be for us to come out with loudspeakers that are specifically designed to be used vertical. Actually, the P6 and the P6V are a version of that. We had the P6
vertical,
the horizontal one, and then we made the cabinet vertical because there was a demand for that. The P8, the angle design. So this is going away. This angle was a really good idea about 19 years ago, because it allows you to use this loudspeaker in large rooms, and you get this downward facing angle. First of all, nowadays we would use the P8 ICW, the in-wall version, which has that downward facing angle built in already. And not many people use this slant on the P8 anymore. So in fact, that is going away in the next iteration of the P8. We update our loudspeakers every couple of years. They get a new version. And right now, as of last month, 2 weeks ago, the P28 has been updated. So we're now in version 3 of the P28. And you can't really see from the outside, but especially the electronics have been updated. So a good improvement on that one. The current version of the P28 is sold out, the old version, and we now only have the latest version. So if you order one now, you get the newest version automatically.
Gerben, do we have any plans of making active or powered speakers?
Again, very good question. Thank you, Fanil. That's excellent. Yes, we did that in the past. In fact, we had the most amazing active loudspeaker. It was a tri-amplified active loudspeaker, and my God, that thing was amazing. So much work to make one. It was so complicated. And at that time, and still today, we sell a lot of loudspeakers to Japan, to the movie studios there. Sony Pictures and all the anime people in all those studios, they all use our loudspeakers. And we sent a set of that tri-amplified loudspeaker to Japan, and it has a switch on the back, and you could switch from tri-amplified to bi-amplified passive, allowing the Japanese engineers to test it. And the reason we did that was because we weren't ourselves quite convinced that the active amplifiers were actually better than passive amplifiers. So we sent a set to the Japanese guys, who are amazing engineers, and said, try this out and tell us what you like better. And they came back to us after very good testing, and they said, yeah, we like passive better. So the problem with active is that you are trying to squeeze what should be a very powerful amplifier that creates a lot of heat and power into a very small space. And you're basically going to ruin your amplifier. And as you then compromise your amplifier, you then compromise your audio quality. So the bottom line is active speakers, probably not. I won't say no and never, but the reasons to have passive or non-built-in amplifiers is greater than the reasons to have built-in amplifiers. And in all honesty, it's just easier to have all the amplifiers in the rack and you can just check them all. It's like, yep, all the lights are green and everything is working. Because if those amplifiers are behind the screen, good luck. You need to take half the room apart to get to them.
I was just coming to Urban because we had done when we started working with Procella. At that time, you all had the P815 amplified version, and because of not enough ventilation or place for the heat to transfer, we had issues with the amplification. And I remember we then changed them from active to passive because of the same reason. So if you're putting it in a fennel, if you put it in a baffle and there's not proper ventilation, then it becomes a challenge.
Yeah, and remember,
we mentioned that you can't track the amplification, what's happening behind the screen. That becomes a problem.
This question was because I was just thinking if Procella is ever gonna accept something like a Dante and make powered speakers where you just a Cat6 cable goes to the speaker and you're sorted. So
yeah, we'll put Dante AES67 into our amplifiers. And then you just run a speaker wire and you're done. Look, one cable or the other, you need to run one cable, whether it's Cat6 or a speaker wire. At the end of the day, it's one cable. Look, remember, with Procella Audio, we play extremely loud. We spoke about THX reference level. We exceed THX reference level most of the time. Yeah. We regularly play at 132 decibels, 136 decibels, no problem. And the reason that we can play so loud is because we have very low distortion. Again, back to closed box, very good control of our drivers, which means very low distortion, which means your eardrums are not being destroyed by distortion. And because the audio is so clean, free of distortion, you can listen to the high SPL levels for a long time. And that's what people want. They want to listen loud, and especially in India, people like it loud. So that's what Procella can do. Now, in order to play loud with a closed box, you need a very powerful amplifier. Yeah, because you need to overcome the actual suspension, the air suspension that this driver sits in. Because this is closed box, it's pulling and pushing against the air that is inside this cabinet. So you need power. And if you put that inside the loudspeaker, no space, heat problems, ventilation problems, etc. So it just doesn't stack up. Our DA03, DA08 amplifiers are that powerful because we use closed box. That's why we have such powerful amplifiers, and we need them to be that powerful, and we need them to have really good ventilation. When we designed that amplifier, we said we want quadruple fans in there. There's 4 fans. And most of the time they're not on, they're just, they're just spinning very slowly. Only if they play very loud for a long time, like subwoofer amps, they start actually spinning up. But that's why we designed our own amplifiers. Any other questions?
I think there are a few raised hands.
Hold on, I can't always see them. I see. Abhishek, go ahead. You need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi.
There you go.
So my question is that what's the actual power rating of the P8, or what's a safe amplifier to put it on if it's not one of your amps? Can I try it with an amp which is 1000 watts at 8 ohms?
Look, we always say the best amplifier is the most powerful amplifier. And the reason for that is the loudspeaker can handle all the power you can throw at it. And that's because these are professional grade drivers. They can handle a lot more power. What destroys a loudspeaker is clipping. If you have an amplifier that's not powerful enough to deliver the power to the to the loudspeaker and you just keep turning up the big volume knob, you end up clipping that amplifier, and then the loudspeaker gets destroyed. So, is there a maximum power rating for the amplifier? No. You can put as powerful an amplifier on each of our loudspeakers as you want. I would warn against amplifiers that are too low in the power rating, because then the customer will get to the point where they max out the amplifier starts clipping, and that will destroy any loudspeaker.
Gurban, you would like to add the right crossover before someone deciding the amount of power they want to give to a speaker.
Sorry, what do you mean with that?
So I mean, if giving 1,000 watts to a speaker above 100 hertz is okay, but if he's giving 1,000 watt at 50 hertz, then it's going to be a problem for the speaker.
Look, a room needs to be properly calibrated and set up, and you can always do silly things that will destroy anything. For a while we had problems in some countries with really bad power network grid issues, and that destroyed amplifiers. That was a problem, and we've moved away from that now. We have much better protection in our amplifiers, the current generation of amplifiers.
So in Trinov we have this option of setting how much of dynamics we can allow for each speaker. So for the front speakers, for example, if I've connected, right now my setup has P8s and I'm using a Trinov with a particular amplifier which is 1200 watts per channel, 4 channel amps. I'm using 2 of those. Now we have the option of setting the dynamics wherein the peak can go up to 6 dB, 8 dB, 10 dB whatsoever. So is it safe that I have set it to 10 dB for the fronts? For the subs, I do it because my subs are very, very powerful. They're 2000 watts, but then I'm little skeptical about doing the same for the P8s. So I brought it down a bit to 6 dB. So what is actually the right setting?
Tell me again the rating for your amplifiers.
1200 at 8.
That's very powerful. Look, if you've calibrated the room and adjusted the amplifier gain in such a way that you get correct SPL out of the P8s with normal content, it shouldn't be a problem. That's just the way it is. If you set the gain correctly on the amplifiers, you can send any signal from normal content. There is such a thing that at DTS we used to describe as illegal content, which is signals that are not natural, that are not normal, that we deliberately use to test equipment. Now, you wouldn't get that in a movie. Like any movie that you buy, there is no such thing as illegal content in there. So if your system is correctly set up to play at the correct levels, including the loudest levels, and the gain of the amplifier set correctly, you should be able to play any signal, normal signal. But if you have a setting in your Trinov that limits that, go for it. Put a limiter on it. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I've put 10 for the subs actually, and for the LCR, which is P8, I've put 6 dB. So
and sounds
it doesn't go beyond 6 dB of dynamics. Sometimes I feel it should be more than that.
Yeah, I couldn't comment on it until I hear it, to tell you the truth. I've not played with that. I see Fennel shaking his head. What do you think, Fennel?
I think the gain setting, yes, number one, because even if it's a 1200 watt or say a 2000 watt amplifier, you will still end up setting the gain at the right voltage, and that will ultimately, and of course setting the right crossovers. If the crossover is set right and the gain is set right, you will not be able to overdrive the speakers unless the Trinov with the dynamic boost adds distortion of some case.
So actually we can do those voltage settings and limiters in Pro Audio. In the Trinov you don't have options to do that. The Trinov detects how the speaker is and tries to do its own settings.
No, that's just the preamp, right? But that's the processor. But the power amps?
No, power amps don't have it. They just have a knob for input sensitivity. That's all.
That input sensitivity is the gain.
input sensitivity you set to either 0.7 or 1. That is how much volts you need. You want the amp to go to maximum power. That's all.
Yeah, our amplifiers have a gain control. So
the issue is if you set the gain low on the front panel, then you are again limiting the power.
Yeah.
The ideal thing to do is put it to max and then do your limiter settings, that is the voltage settings, which we can do in Pro Audio. But yeah, in home audio, unfortunately, we don't have those options.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Yeah. Okay, I've not been keeping an eye on the chat because I can't do everything at the same time. Any questions
we had
in
a
the chat?
question, can we use DA03 for P5V? Handling capacity of P5V is low and DA03 delivers more power.
Yes, absolutely. And that comes down to a good amplifier that is driving a loudspeaker with a lower power rating. Yes, you will not use all the power of the amplifier, but that's a good thing. You'll never get into trouble with clipping. And maybe it's a waste of the amplifier power, but yes, you can absolutely drive a P5, a P6 with the DA03. In terms of budget, often I will say, hey, in smaller rooms, drive your surrounds and your Atmos from an AVR or from a multi-channel amplifier and use our DA03 or DA08 for the LCRs and the subwoofers, just because it makes sense from a budget point of view. But hey, if the budget is there, go for it. It's absolutely no problem. And in fact, it will sound good. It will literally sound better. Our amplifiers are very, very clean sounding. We had a dealer in London who was originally using turn-off multi-channel amplifiers for a lot of his surrounds and overheads, and he switched to DA03s and loved it. He said absolutely massive improvement of the entire room. Dynamic range improved, audio quality improved. He absolutely was delighted with it. And the turn-off amp is not a bad amp. All right, any other questions?
Okay, guys, also Gerben and Procella Audio also help you if you have a big project or any project and you need any help from their side, they need any support in speccing the system or any kind of details are required, they are more than happy to help. You can reach out to me. We do also connect you with Gerben and the team. We do set up WhatsApp groups where you all can communicate with Gerben and ask questions for a project, specific projects. So yes, they do support a lot for projects and everything. So feel free to reach out anytime for any queries.
We are happy to look at your drawings and give advice on the configuration, or just check your work and say, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? There's many ways to skin the cat, and very happy to help. And I want to mention something for Ashwin. Ashwin, of course, is organizing his dealer incentive trip to Belgium and the Netherlands this time. I hope to see many of you there. If you do a few projects, place the orders with Ashwin before the... thanks, Deepak. If you place your orders before the end of October, you're coming to Belgium. We're going to see Galaxy Studios, which is now part of the Procella group. Galaxy Studios is one of the most famous recording studios in Belgium, and it belongs to the same group of companies now that Procella belongs to. So we're going to see that. We're going to the Procella Experience Center in the Netherlands, and we're going to have a lot of fantastic food and beer and whatnot.
One question, Gerben.
Yeah?
Do these DA03 and DA08 have clipping indicators when we are reaching the threshold? Does it indicate that it's going to clip?
Yes. Yeah.
And another question, do we have anything in Italy if we want to take the client there?
In Italy? Nothing jumps to mind right now.
You can think about it and get back to me.
Yeah, Italy. Need to ask the colleagues, I think. So yeah, get selling and join the trip. We had a fantastic trip a couple of years ago to Finland and Sweden. This one is Belgium and the Netherlands. Very, very good. And I already have a third one planned for later, maybe next year, which I think we should go to London then as well, Ashwin.
Yeah, we should plan that. Anyways, guys, if there are any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Okay, Waveworks has a question. Any certain height to be maintained in installing P8 to get equal presence sound till the last row?
And I presume that you're meaning the height of the LCR. So the height of the LCR is actually governed by the screen. So whatever screen you use, whether you use scope or 69, or the third option that I always promote, which is the 2.0 to 1 screen, which is the maximum width, your scope width, and your 16:9 height, and just make that into one big screen. The height of the screen determines where the P8 should be. And that is actually a given by THX and by every studio in the world, which is at 5.8 or 63%. So the acoustic center, which is here, halfway high frequency and mid range, so conveniently there, this should be at 5.8 of the height of the screen. And in all cases, that means it will be slightly above the heads, and you should maintain a line through all the surrounds. So if you have tiered seating and the seats go up, your surrounds will go up. But from the LCR through the surrounds all the way to the back wall should be one plane. Whether that plane is horizontal or elevated, but it should be one plane. So that the surrounds, the bed as we call it, the surrounds travel in one flat plane. Flat that can be horizontal or elevated. Make sense?
Gerben, the RP22 has all of this in detail, the CD RP22, in case someone wants to.
Yeah, a lot of it. We were contributors. We wrote part of the RP22 as Anders and others of our company. We actually wrote co-wrote RP22, and all our loudspeakers will be in RP1 as well. So RP22 took all of the good stuff that THX has done since a long time ago, that the DTS has done, that Dolby has done. They put it together and they gave it a much more comprehensive document, which I think was brilliant. What's his name? Adam Presidia.
Adam Pulse.
Adam Pulse. Yeah, fantastic work. And we've been contributors to RP22 from the beginning.
I think that is one document, and I believe it's available quite freely, so everyone should have a look at it. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, very good. Okay, so this was the first time we did a webinar like this. I think next time we'll do one about new products, all the latest products. I'll get them all in here and do a show and tell with new products. How does that sound, Ashwin?
Yeah, sounds great. I think we should have this maybe once a quarter or something, and updates and just sharing details. It's a good practice to be in touch. So yeah. So
all right, guys, thank you very much. I'm very impressed with the number of people who showed up. So thank you very much, India. Well done, and I'll see you soon in November.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, guys.
End of the meeting. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Please contact us.
Thanks, Ashwin. Thanks, Gerben. Bye.
Thanks, Ashwin.
Thanks, Gerben.
Thanks, bye.
Thank you, Ashwin. Bye.